Evening live. I would first like to talk about what we're going to discuss here in this evening's live episode. The imagery is meant to show you how many different ways that we could go between the micro and the macro. It's not as cut and dry as some might think. That $1.44 level is important. If we can't get above like $1.44.5, it's really important actually if we get a close below there. And then we'll break in to what could possibly be the route of least resistance and also the route of the most potential, or the route of most potential, depending on how we get that close tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just wanted to plug my charger in because it is getting a little lower my tablet. But as far as the imagery goes, this just gives a good, clear way of showing you what's all within the it's pretty interesting. So if you look at the back left, we have that $1.58, which is the descending, or $1.56, which is the descending triangle area. And if it breaks down, you end up to that ultimate technical target at 86.6 cents. Ribbon and pendant, if we can get above $1.48, can bring us up back to that $1.52 to $1.56 zone. Looking at the top right side, we have the CME and FEG are near $1.70. We also have in the middle on the mountaintop where you have the XRP all-time cup and handle with the descending wedge on the handle. And that ultimate target would be about $6.51. You have where they look like they're falling off the cliff at $1.39. That's a critical foundation that we did fall below once, but we managed to hold that $1.36 area. And just the middle where it says foundation must hold. So just to put it in perspective of just how many things are going on in such a tight range. So I decided in today's episode that we will look at the micro and how we get to that 86.6 cents overall, but also how we can either maintain a continuation here or what would validate a deeper breakdown and what we're looking for on the close today in particular. So I wanted to separate it in two factions. The micro side, which we are classifying as the danger zone, and then the macro view, which is where we're looking at the all-time cup and handle breakout target and where I think we can get this cycle after this bear market ends. And that comes behind a lot of technicals. That's not just a throw the dart scenario. It comes behind a lot of, if you want to call it science or math, but it's what makes sense here. It's just a matter of what route we're going to take to get there, as there's two very distinct differentials we can take. Even today, we've got two different outcomes. If we close below like that 144.5, that's a bearish signal. If we close above it, then we start looking at that $1.48 and ultimately that $1.52 to 56 and see if we could expand out to the CME FEG up at $1.70. A lot to do. We have an HTF gap up there as well, or HTF supply zone up there as well. So if we got up above that $1.56 and started heading towards that area, it could definitely lead to a little credibility for a further push up in the micro. But be that as it may, we've got a lot of stuff to discuss. So that's what I would like to do today. I know we've already been here once this morning, did a short, I did a live class, yada, 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 so on and so forth. But I have a lot of stuff to talk about. And I want to do this in a very professional, very laid back kind of a way to where I'm not talking at you, we're talking with each other. I want to be as if we're sitting together around a fire right now. And I want to, for lack of a better word, give out fire right now as far as the technicals go. So every single one of you, by the time you leave, you go, you know what? Now I understand why you can't just say up or down, left or right. There's a lot of different variables that go into this market right now. So if you could hit that like button, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. It shows such a great sign of respect and support. And then when other people come in, they look and they say, hey, look at all these people that hit that like button. Maybe we should give it a shot. Then the algorithm says, oh man, even though I don't want to push this guy, all these people hit the like button, we could probably go get some more people and it would help our cause. So good evening. 5:51 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Monday, March 23rd, 2026. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So, welcome back, everybody. What's going on here? The Claude bots. Um, let's see. I'm having issues with my optimism. All right. So let's go through these comments real quick because I can see there's a lot of dismay. There's a lot of people that are doubting, and I understand that. That's what bear markets are here for. It gets our mindset not so great, which is also why I wanted to come on with a laid back talking and my voice, and I didn't want to come at you like I did earlier. Dan Marginal, Big Dog, Mrs. Stott, Mr. Stott, thanks for being in town during 6+ months with the XP Predictor. Zalim, welcome in along with Chris B. Thanks for your first month with the emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens. Mosey here, thanks for 2 years with the XP 589 Moon badge along with UK Phil. Welcome into both of you. Crypto Cooter, thanks for being in Tom's Army over 1 year with the I Told You So badge and a very trusted mod called Aldebrand. Welcome in. Where in the world is Thomas San Diego? Right out here in front of you, brother. John Allen, good evening, along with the Relly. Welcome back, love. Darren Underwood, welcome. What's going on, my friend? The King's coming. Amen to that. Welcome in here. Brad Jones, thanks for being in Tom's Army 3+ months with the XP Meteor, along with Jason Blackburn. We'll get into Jason's comment in a sec. Juan, welcome in and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XP 589 Moon badge. It is getting spicy, my friend. It is getting spicy. Mark Casson, welcome in and thanks for being in Tom's Army over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Is that everybody? Knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog bone. Welcome and good afternoon, Tom and Army. Positivity, patience, and perseverance, keys to success. Yes, indeed. Jacoby, welcome in and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year at the I Told You So badge as well. So getting to the comment with Jason, Super T, I'm having issues with my optimism. Oh, and Creamy Goodness, welcome in as well. Says the rally, the rejection, the dump, so I can buy my favorite cryptos at the lows is my projection, not advice, but I'm going to get a bit of put protections. Ooh, getting spicy here this afternoon. So let's see. Let's read this comment though. Jason says, Super T, I'm having issues with my optimism. Not to be politically incorrect, but reminds me of battered wife syndrome, except in crypto. I understand that. I understand that. Marty, welcome in as well. Welcome back. For your info earlier live was awesome. Oh, thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. I do appreciate that. But so to get back to what Jason was saying, it's not, you're not wrong. Maybe not about maybe not talking about battered wife syndrome or whatever, but you're not wrong about your mentality, the way you feel. See, the bear market is set to put us in such a point of dismay and discontent and just overall anger and anxiety filled and fear and FUD and everything in between. And the best thing about them is that it knocks off 95% of people. And I know it doesn't sound great. I mean, after all, we are retail, so why would it be great if 95% of us get knocked out? Well, unfortunately, Jason, that's the only way for 5% of retail to make some real financial gain. And I've always said it often. The worst part about investing is knowing that the only way for me to win is my neighbors have to lose. Now, my neighbors could win with us if we're on the same mindset, but it's a painful proclamation. And these kind of things, there's no earnings, there's no dividends paid and nothing like that. So someone's got to lose for someone else to win. So my objective here is to make sure that we're all in line in the proper way so that we can all win instead of falling with the rest of retail. And it's not easy. I take my lumps. I got some real criticism earlier. You should see some of the comments that for whatever reason YouTube blocked them. I actually thought they were quite hilarious. It made me laugh what somebody said. They called me an inconsiderate, I don't remember what they said. Basically that I didn't know shit, and it was you'd think it pissed me off, but it actually made me laugh. So but YouTube, when I clicked on the comment, it says it was deleted because it went against the YouTube terms of service for hate speech. And I was like, well, shouldn't I be the judge of that? If I want it to be there, why can't it be there? But here's the reason why I wanted everybody to be able to see it, even though you won't be able to, because this is the emotion we deal with. That's real emotion. That's raw emotion. Now, We can't just judge a comment just because of the comment. Who knows? Maybe that person's lost 75%. We don't know. Maybe they've just been sitting in this for so long that they finally said this is horse crap, or maybe they just don't like what I said. It'd be nice to know. But it was definitely straight to the point, eh? So, but Jason, you're not wrong, because in the all-time pattern, my plan was to start this in the micro, but just because of what's going on with your comment, I think maybe we should start in the macro just so you can see. And this pattern's not done yet. It's got to decide. So we don't know if this is going to come up and push another layer, because this could very well be flagging out here. We can't tell. Nice V shape. Maybe we do want to see a close above like that 144.5. Just from me to you guys. That's what we're looking to close, and I think we could do it. So that's going to be your golden ticket to get above there. We haven't had the third tap of resistance in the symmetrical triangle yet, which should bring us somewhere. I still think it could bring us up to that $1.56 level or so if it breaks to the top side. But from the macro perspective, the reason why we're feeling like this mentally is because we have recency bias, right? We have a recency bias. It's human nature. We recall what's happened in the more recent, you know, not necessarily from the longest way out. So, but notice we've been on this projectile since 2017-18, and then we came across, and it took another 3 years to create the big W part of the formation in the middle, kind of like the, you know, that's just like where the W starts to be created. Then it took us another almost 4 years to create the rounding of the bottom and then have the successful breakout. Now it's going to take about, from the time this happened in November, January, and then the correction in July, now all of a sudden it takes you another about year and a half to get to the crescendo. So this is considered the exhaustion phase. And this isn't just to exhaust the buyers or sellers. This is to exhaust everybody who's been watching, maybe buying and selling. And when it gets into this, these are created to foster the illusion of very bearish setups. So basically you're seeing a support resistance, and then it treks its way down for a number of months, if not years, depending on the style of the setup. This one, fortunately, is about in totality, 21 months, I believe it is. So if you go back to January of 24, February, you take it about 17, 18 months out, then you get all the way to August. And that's how this pattern is set up. So while it's doing this over the course of that time, it is coming down in price, but it's squeezing out the last of the sellers. This is actually super bullish. But the problem is, even just trying to explain it, 95% of people will just leave because they're like, well, I don't want to hear about this. We're going to keep coming down. Who wants to hear about the downward? It's the point. You've got to survive this. You have to survive this setup. You have to understand that when you're in a very bullish cup and handle, it doesn't just happen overnight on the breakout. We've created a little bit of a symmetrical triangle here in the smaller term within this descending wedge, but it doesn't just happen overnight. Once this is finished, once this pattern finally takes shape and it actually exhausts itself, only then are we going to get into the real bull market. And yes, it can take all the way down possibly to 56 cents. Heck, it could go to 52, and it could take out until August of this year. There's no way of actually knowing if we're going to get a clean break earlier or if it's going to take the entire time. So what this ends up doing is it's absolutely there to create every single self-doubt you have in crypto, and particularly XRP. It's there to keep you feeling like it's never going to end. This is the whole point of it. Basically, you're at the last hurdle before that big, beautiful breakout to $6.41. And that doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight once it breaks out. If it takes until August, the first push-up will be about $2.84. If it happens sooner than that and it ends up doing it around 86.6 is the low, and then it swings back out, then you can start talking about $3.40 as that initial push-up, anywhere between 330 and 340. It just depends when it would break out of this descending wedge. So this is going to be the hardest time psychologically for us as investors and traders to be watching this. This reminds me of how we had to watch this for a very long time. If you're a part of this back in 2023, we hit the top in 21, and then we had to be very, very, very diligent here. Remember this? We came up to resistance and we had to wait until it hit the uptrending support until finally in 23 we had quantitative easing and rate cuts. Remember all of this? We had to wait from a big downturn. We sold at $1.66 somewhere over here. And then we had to wait all the way down to 34. And now we've just been bouncing around, breakout, took our profits like we were supposed to, and now it's back to that exact same consolidation. Exact same consolidation, except now, this is where the dividends get truly paid now. If it comes to 53 cents, you can already see an area on the uptrend where it would make perfect sense. If it takes until August of this year, it would get you right around that 56 cents. And isn't that quite convenient that if we go to the apex and the descending wedge, it brings you to 86 or 56 cents at the lows? Maybe 53 if it does it sooner, but isn't that quite convenient that we would end up back in that same uptrend? So it's either that or we end up at that 86 and some change. Either way, it's super bullish. Preferably, I would like it to take as long as possible and come down to 56 cents. You know, that's just what I want to happen. It would have the biggest profit margin for us. And if that makes me a bad person, ooh, I'm spookified. You know, you can look at me as the worst person in the world, but I can guarantee you when we get there, you're going to be loving it. I guarantee it. I've been here before, and I'll be here again. We've done this a couple of times now, so we know. I know. Everybody who's feeling disheveled, once it happens, you're going to say, oh my fucking God. Oh, I'm sorry, no swearing today. Oh my God. I can't believe this is happening. XRP future millionaire Tom, this douchebag, he was actually right. It just took patience, understanding. Seeing right now in the weekly, that's a very bearish reversal. So no matter what happened here, we couldn't even barely get out of the body of the candle right now in this weekly. So we got to be very careful here. This is a complete wick failure, pushed up to resistance, pulled back, and you still, believe it or not, even though the wick is pulled down, that's an engulfing candle body to the downside with this wick pointing down. That's super bearish. So it's one of the things. Tom's analysis is correct, but bad tokenomics ain't going to allow us to see $6. You very well might be right. That's just the target out of this cup and handle. So the analysis is good. Whether or not tokenomics allow it to play true, or if the Clarity Act sends us dead down spiraling, that's an unknown. All we can do is base it on the technicals. So don't blame tokenomics. Your job is not to compete with tokenomics. That's above our pay grade. All we can do is try to inspire a pattern based on what we're seeing in technicals. It's all I've ever done in the past. I don't care about the tokenomics for the actual price targets because they don't matter. This is something completely different. But yeah, you very well might be right. I'm not going to deny that, big dog. Yeah, I don't deny that. That's possible that it's just not what it seems to be. But, you know, when you see a pile of steaming dog shit sitting on the side of the road, we might not want to acknowledge what it is, and it might be a pile of horrible shit, and it might stink. But at the end of the day, we still know what it is. It's a pile of dog shit. The chart is just that. It's a chart. The tokenomics might be like a bag of dog shit, but the chart in front of us is telling us that we have a lot of pent-up aggression, and the way it's setting up is standard operating procedure for a trading algorithm. This is the most bullish trading algorithm you can come up with, by the way. So I don't disagree with you. But I will disagree to the fact that the analysis might not play out because of the tokenomics. I think it would be quite different. I think it'd be more of a reason for it to play out. Pay out the long holders in the bag. Pay out everybody who's part of the ETF and believed in this, let's just say the failed tokenomics. And then they can take their funds and put them in the ETFs and so on and so forth. I think this is going to be a massive payout, but retail is pretty much going to miss the boat. Definitely. You know, but that's the thing. I think retail, we're going to get in our own way if we start talking about the tokenomic side of it. Because, yeah, we can call it crappy, shady, but I can tell you a fact. Even with bad tokenomics, there is a guaranteed partnership with between Ripple and Swift that they don't tell you about. So the Ripple and the Swift connection It's through the BIDL, the BUIDL, or BULDILD, or however the hell they put it. But basically, what that condition is that Swift is going to continue with the banking transfers. However, Ripple via RLUSD and ultimately XRP as the moving parts is going to end up representing the liquidity, and that would come directly from XRP, the token itself. So, bad tokenomics or not, we're going to be the world liquidity hub, while Swift is the world banking, pushing the banking side of it, pushing the funds through the banks. They're actually teaming up with Ripple, XRPL, with XRP and RLUSD as the. I combine all of it because it's all one big ecosystem. But basically, XRP is going to be the liquidity for Swift. I know it doesn't seem like it. I know it doesn't. I've shared you why. But it doesn't mean that we're going to be the new global standard. See, that's where we get it twisted. XRP is not the global dollar. It's global liquidity for the central banks. And what better central bank and which better way to push this is through Swift. They're actually teaming up. I know it sounds crazy. It's by design. Swift ain't going nowhere. It's just, it's not going to be exactly the same. And there's plenty of room for more than one player. And they're actually going to partner this out. So I know it's confusing to a lot. I've never seen it more clearly. Prepare to hold for 3 to 4 months. Yes. That's actually a pretty interesting comment. The Crypto Tech Review says, once this XRP blows up, I'm going to reach out and invite you and your +1 to one of the nicest steak dinners ever. God bless you and your family. Thanks for all you do with such transparent intel. Oh, man. I feel honored, actually. Thank you so much for thinking about us. Crypto Tech Review. I try. I really do try. And I'm very transparent. I mean, it is what it is. I don't like to come in here and finesse it. I like to actually, I want everybody to see what's really going on. So when we're looking at it from the macro, think of it that way. Don't think of it just as we're failing and things like that, or we're piles of dog dung and, it's a never ending battle, because I can promise you, just like I did in 23, just like I did in 21, there is a rainbow at the end of this very rainy day. There is a golden ticket that we can all hold if properly done. See, nobody wants to buy a golden ticket when it's a bag of dog shit. So I equate XRP to, it can be one of two things. One, you can love it, you can watch it, you can fantasize, you can buy it anywhere and hold a bag of dog shit, or you can understand, be transparent with yourself, line it up through the technicals, find the proper spot, and then you can in fact hold a diamond. It's like a diamond. You got a bag of diamonds or a bag of gold instead. So I love XRP, but not for the reasons everybody thinks. I love XRP because it represents a footholding for the central banks. I hate the central banks and the government, but I'm not going to bet against them. I love XRP because it's got big connections with the IMF. I love XRP because it's got a big connection to the biz. I like, and I'm not talking about business, it's the Bank of International Settlement. I love it because it's got connections to a lot of other things that are run by the central banks. So the central banks don't lose, so neither will we. We've got a golden ticket. Just we got to deal with a bunch of shit. I mean, that's the truth. We do have a golden ticket. It's right there in front of us. We just have to basically go through the minefields of disinformation, mind-numbing analysis by most, ones who couldn't tell you anything truthful from a charting perspective, but can finesse you more ways than you could even imagine. So we have to go through a lot of different things to get to where we're going, but I can guarantee it. I've done it before, and I'll guarantee it again. We're going to do what we did in 21, except to a greater extent in 23. In that 23 buy-in, we did to a much better extent than 21. And in 25, it's going to be the caveat for what we do in 26. But you have to do it all in a unique, refined order, which means in 5 years, what's crazy? Tomorrow is my 5-year anniversary on YouTube. Did you know that? 5 years tomorrow. Officially never missed a day on here. So, you know, if everybody thinks that it's becoming mind-numbing for them trying to watch crypto and things like that, imagine doing this. Let's see. Let's just see how long we've done this. Starting tomorrow would be 5 years. So let's get the calculator out. Let's just do 364 times. Well, 364 is one of the months, or one of the years, so times, shit, how many fucking months? 60 months minus, so 364 days times 5 years. You know, we're about 1,800 plus days in a row starting tomorrow. So if you think looking at the screen is hard for you, or if you think that your brain's going to explode, imagine coming on here every single day for 1,820 days in a row, and then tell me that you're bored, or tell me that it's too much, or tell me that you've hit a wall, or tell me that it's become too much. No, you're talking to the wrong person. I've done this for 1,819 days as of right now in a row. Oh, times 60. 365 times 60. It comes out to the same thing, I think. Close enough. So, but listen, you've got in this whole thing. Oh, trading with J-Ride. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I didn't even notice that. Thank you so much for that vote of confidence. I really appreciate that. And also in Tom's Army for over 4 years with the XRP Phoenix badge. 5-year badge is coming out in a couple weeks. It's already there, but got to wait for the first person to get there, which will be my profile once it gets there. And we'll see. It's pretty cool. I believe you get the XRP Future Millionaire badge this time around. But yeah, it's without Nostro's and Bostro's account holding, Swift will actually become more profitable just in that aspect, let alone all the other benefits. I 100% agree with that, Crypto Cooter. And thanks for being a very trusted mod and being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. But the point is here, from the macro perspective, we've done this twice before. And it took a lot of patience, a lot of perseverance, and having to be here every single day. And every single person who was understood, capitalized if they did. And then maybe the first time around they didn't listen. But the ones who didn't listen in 21, I guarantee they listened in 23 and 25 when we had to sell. For the ones who didn't listen in 21 or 23, they're pining for a third chance here. Pining. And remember, that opportunity doesn't just come down here. It could also come with the breach of the descending wedge over the top, which I think is less likely, but still not out of the question. So that is still part of the one of two directions in the macro. I just don't have a lot of faith that we're going to get out of here unless something dramatic happens, you know, in the short term. But that remains to be seen. So what we're looking for today in the micro now, since we got through the macro, we're looking at the micro. We're looking for a close over $1.44.5. I think it's like $1.44.47, so I'm just going to call it $1.44.5. We get over that area, then we can start to play this out. Now, in the daily time frame, is that a little dangerous? Kind of looks like a reversal here in the hardest way, unless it continues to break down. But as of right now, no harm, no foul. We're above that little liquidity zone. And the technical move up, although it's not like the greatest rise in the world, it's not like the most massive gains ever. But from here, you certainly find yourself back at a retest about 152 to 156, just depending on how you measure this. And it would be enough. It's either gonna, it would either fade out there in the micro or not. But let's go to this in a different way. I think the best way that I can maybe animate this for everybody. Let's see. Nah, not this chart. Although this does show you how to get past this liquidity box. We talked about up to A, down to B. However, I didn't have the evidence earlier for that second part of the push out. So we could actually make this maybe a little more accurate. Maybe not. Let's just hold off on looking at it like that. Just for a second. I don't want to confuse. So let's go to the other chart. Let's go to the other one. Where the hell is it at? Sorry, I got so many charts. The only good thing I did is I put on here the ticker symbol now so you can see what the different charts are in case you want to do it yourself, like it says Kraken at top. For some reason, it took me a while to turn that on. I don't even know if I realized it wasn't on until somebody started mentioning it before. Hey, totally awesome. What's going on, my friend? And thanks for being in Times Only 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. So, XRP is still very much inside of a symmetrical triangle. And let me go back to where it back tested here, because I think this is very important. This is where we've come back. We broke out of a symmetrical triangle. And now this back test, we were able to hold here. And that would give us a target of about 152, $1.52 approximately on the short push. And that's just if it does break past here and it can continue the integrity here. Now, the key is if we go to 152 and then we back test $1.48, that's going to springboard us up to just a little bit higher. And we filled out this perfectly, this little drop point. So at least it held that area if we're looking for a little bit of a rise up like we've gotten. But the ultimate key right now is here. At all costs, we have to hold, and it's changing. It changes ever so slightly. And right now we're at about $1.4275. Once we fall below that, we could fail this if it doesn't hold it. But right now we're back over the top. This is in the futures chart. It even came down near that $1.35, $1.36 support structure. We back tested the $1.36 yesterday, which was actually really good. The 4-hourly, however, for just this pushback up, has got pretty much back into the overbought. So when that starts happening, it can show signs of exhaustion. So you see this is mimicking a little bit. Notice how it exhausted the push up, has a little bit of a pointing down through the bottom. This is basically showing you exactly what the weekly time frame showed. Not exactly the best thing in the world. Like that completely engulfed that top side move and pulled it back down. So now we got to see if this can play back out. Now it's on to the next candle basically to see if we can get a hold here, and then it'll be on to the next candle. James says, I don't hold any XRP, but I'm rooting for y'all. I think it makes $7 next bull run. I don't disagree that if it plays out the way it needs to, that we can get up towards that $7. I still think, I've been watching this for a long time, believe me. It takes a lot of patience. Hey, 1,300 days ago, we started to talk about that. That $6 and something cents. And now it's possible. I used to draw these out and say, hey guys, imagine if we could make this W and then have a nice little bullish handle. And then just imagine what we could have. Now I don't have to imagine it. It's actually playing out in real time. The funny thing and ironic part about this is, if we go to the XRP market cap, I drew this out in a very similar way a long time ago. Except now I deleted it. Damn it. I had a nice W drawn on here. I know some of you remember from yesteryear. And we had the W here, and that's how I got this target, to get the 249.18 billion in the market cap. Mind you, for XRP to get up to that $6 plus area, we have to command $250 billion market cap. You know, so that's just the truth. So, Elmer, what did I miss? Oh, I couldn't even start over to re-emphasize everything I said. You're going to have to restart. It would be impossible. Very strong message. Very comforting message at that. But it's going to take a little bit more than me just restarting. You're going to have to restart, unfortunately, this time, to get the full benefit of this live, in my opinion. Broke down out of the descending triangle, so we still have all of this. I'm going to get rid of this just for confusion's sake. I don't want to have all of this in here to be confusing. Get rid of this. We'll get rid of some of the noise. But yeah, right now it's very much one of the biggest things you missed, Elmer, is this. I'll be honest. So one of the biggest things you missed is the contention. I got asked by someone, or was told like how their mindset and how they're just having a hard time believing and staying positive. And I tried to explain how when you get into these long-term cup and handles, the handle is the exhaustion point. Most people, because you have such a big breakout on the handle, and then it starts to contract, get rid of all the sellers, contract even more. is where the mindset goes negative. To keep that positive perspective and understanding of the handle is meant to do exactly that. And then you have to identify what kind of handle it is. And right now, because we're in a descending wedge, man, I can't even get upset. I really can't even get upset when I look at this. Like, this to me is just, holy smokes. Every time I look at this, I go, Jesus Lord. I don't think anybody would be mad if they actually understood what they were looking at. The fact that it's a telegraph target to $6.41. The fact that even if it bounces out late in August and it's down to 56 cents could catapult you up to like 283 right out the bat. And that's worst case scenario. It comes down into that mid 50-cent range. If it breaks down that, uh-oh. Because we don't really want to come down much farther. Like, even coming down here is almost a problem because it comes into this big consolidation. So I almost prefer for it to happen, you know, sometime in July or maybe June even. But the point is, it can come all the way down there, and we just have to accept that, and we have to watch it. So don't lose your mind. Now, I'll tell you when you lose your mind. If this whole thing invalidated, this whole all-time cup and handle, well, then we can start to cry. If that gets invalidated, I'll have to play the world's smallest violin, and we'll be going to like 3 cents. I'm just saying. We'll go to 3 cents and fill that massive gap down there. If that breaks. So, unless that breaks, don't lose your shit, everybody. Don't lose that mindset. Now, if it breaks down, I'm going to say, listen, guys, I know we could have made a lot of money from 85 cents all the way up to $6 or 56 cents to 6.50 or whatever it is. But imagine how much money we can make from 3 cents when it backtests the failed descending wedge. Then we'll have to look at it a whole different way. So, oh my God, the people that are in are going to be down 99%. But you know what? We got a problem. It's broken down, and I hate to break it to you, everybody, but we're looking very bad. If I come in like that and I go, oh shit, what's he talking about? I'm going to say, hey guys, that all-time cup and handle, I got some bad news. It broke down. You don't even want to see the technical target. Technical target's so low it can't even go on paper. Kind of thing. Then we'll have some real, then we can really talk. We'll have some real, if it happens like that, I'm going to sit here and go, oh shit. You think XRP's bad? Look at some of the other ones that didn't quite hold serve. Oh, we would have some points of contention, ladies and gentlemen, if this happened. Some could argue even that if it comes down here, maybe it doesn't go to 3 cents. Maybe it comes down here, and you know what that 10 cents is? That would fill the little gap that was presented when the lawsuit was announced, when it went back down to 10.1 cents. That could speak to the fact that maybe we're just going down to 10 cents. Oh, God, how many of you wanted a 10-cent XRP? But we don't want to talk about that because it invalidates that entire cup and handle. Nobody wants to see that right now. I don't even want to see that because that means we would have a multi-year crypto winner. Maybe the ultimate cryptic winner. Maybe the all-time crypto winner. And that could be just from the Clarity Act, you know. So we don't know how the Clarity Act's going to exactly affect us. But that's why... Let's just put it this way. This line, we'll keep it. What's the shitstorm color? You know what? We never use this color. If we get Spartan green, it's bad. Bad news if it turns into Spartan green. Although you can't even see it because Spartan green's irrelevant. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, if it gets down there, let's change the color. No offense to my brother in Michigan that like Michigan State. Let's see. My cat wants in, you know how it goes. There, we'll just keep it orange. Keep it orange. Some people are praying for invalidation. I understand. Let me let my cat in real quick, and then I'm gonna give her a tiny bit of food. Come here, Kate. Hi, buddy. Come here. We're off to the door. Here you go, Lamar. Here you go, Lamar. Go. Here. So, I got a different kind of food. You want to try it real quick? Almost like a food. I thought it would be more than just that. Live and you learn, right, kitty? Okay. Thank you for your patience. Who do I have to win the national title, Chris? Well, seeing that I put at plus 2,000 about just over $400 at a bunch of different parts over the summer and early before the season started, I put it on Michigan and it pays out well over $8,000 on 400. I'm gonna go with Michigan. It was my pick before the season. It's been my pick during the season, and it's gonna be my pick in the Sweet 16. I think Michigan. Elmer says, Tom, you seem mellow this afternoon compared to earlier. Something happened? No, just a mind shift. I didn't want to come in all raw. I came in more fiery this morning for a reason, so everybody could see exactly what was in front of us. But honestly, I don't like to be like that. I'd rather be like this. I think I can get more work and done in a better way if I talk like this. I feel better within myself. I think it gets the point across better, and then even the new people that come in are like, you know what? This guy actually, he's not yelling at me. I may not know anything, but at least he's not yelling at me, and it's more inviting. I feel like it's a more inviting environment, if that makes sense. Sometimes I don't like how it comes across, even though it has to come across like that. I got a lot of good compliments about the earlier live, but sometimes I feel like you got to do it in a different way when you're dealing with portfolios. So I want to be more like this person you see in front of you, less like the other person. Putting your life savings on Michigan tonight. Well, it's a bit different right now. Michigan's like the favorite to win. When I was doing that, they were plus 2,000. Tom, if XRP target is 86 cents, where does that put XDC? That's a great question. I've asked myself that question a lot with XDC. And the only logical conclusion I can come up to, well, if it loads up, is 2. Well, we have to wait to see if it'll load up. TradingView's been having issues with certain things. Let's see. TradingView, don't let us down now. We're trying to answer some good questions. Let's see. There we go. So the conclusion I've come to, Aurelie, well, there's 2. If XRP comes down there and this actually plays down, I'm looking around that 1.35 cents, possibly extending all the way down on this gap that we have to 2.0026. I don't think it's going to have a 62.5% drop back to the bottom, but 1.3 cents would be a fair expectation. However, I don't even know if it'll go that far, and I'll show you why. In the other chart, the way I have it charted out, assuming that it lets us see it, like I said, TradingView's having its issues today, which, you know, it happens. Yeah, can we find targets for everything in your book for cryptocurrency? Your life savings equals $100, Chris. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. I'm laughing with you. After paying for my house to get redone and fix it up, and now the roof collapsing and all of that, that'll be about my life savings as well. So I'm laughing with you, not at you, believe me. Let's see. So, Aurelie, the only other area that I would look at, and this is for real, if this does break down in this fashion, and right now we're still kind of riding a possible breakout attempt, would be coming down either that 2.6 or ultimately 2.2. And the 2.2 cents makes a lot of sense to me because it would come back down and retest that August 6th of 2024 low. I know it's not really on anybody's chart or their, but that's my uptrend. Support 1, support 2. This would be the third hit on a successive higher lows. And I think it could be the ultimate confirmation in this pattern. I know it's craziness. And then if we look at this for real, so that I can connect this, I don't know why it keeps changing it because it's on my phone. Let me get rid of this real quick. This would be, whoops. Son of a shamoka. Let's fix this again for the umpteenth time. And it would be like the third tap there. That's not even right. Hold on. This has to be 100% on the money. Okay. So then we have the downtrending resistance. Think about XRP before the breakout, right? So think of XRP before the big breakout. So that's how I'm, get rid of this. That doesn't need to be there. This is how I'm looking at it. You know, I'm looking at it as a big setup still. And once we get outside of here, that's when we can get this huge breakout. It's going to take time. But right now, if we can come down to the bottom of this for a third tap, I want to get rid of this too. Forget about this. Forget about this for a minute. Get out of this. Get rid of this. Get rid of this because we need to clear this out. Since you asked a very direct question, I need to give a very direct answer. Let's just get rid of a lot of this bullshit. Noise, noise, noise. Let's get rid of the noise. Sometimes the noise is just a bit too much, eh? Okay, 3.4. Goodbye. Goodbye. So, if we get this breakdown to test the November 4th low in 2000, like November of 24, what was this again? August of 24, I'm sorry, August 5th of 2024. If we get a third tap on that uptrending support, it would bring us to about, well, I mean, if we go out into August, here, we'll put it out here just for now. It takes until April, but if it goes to August, you're looking at more of like 2.28. So, I mean, it's pretty much in the same realm. So, somewhere around 2.2 cents. Unless it breaks down, I'm looking at about 2.2 cents. Retap that uptrend. And then you can see how you've already got, so basically, we've got a high, lower high, low, higher low. This would be a third successive higher low, and then you play yourself right back up. So let's just say we don't even break out. If we hit that third tap at 2.2 cents and some change, imagine the push from 2.2 back up to about 11 cents, 12 cents. That's epic. Oh, this would be epic. Whoops. So if we go from 2.2 Aurelie, we'll do it from 2.3 so we leave a little bit of leeway. You're talking about a 411% move from right there. That's pretty awesome. And that's before we could even break out. So what I'm looking for is to try to get that 2.2. And since we broke down out of that descending triangle, it looks like, or that bullish setup, I don't have any reason to think that it's not going to happen. The only thing I don't know is, are we going to retest this 4 to 5 cent area before a further breakdown? That's what we don't know. Well, now we're trying to fill out this wick from February 2nd, which is down at 2.9. I could see that at 2.2. So my target 2.2 if XRP comes to 86. I think that's pretty direct and a good reasoning why. No, things can change this. It's just as of right now, that's what my objective is. I'd like to get this area, if I'm being honest. I would love to get that downtrending resistance. I would love to clear this when it's right here. I would just love for it to come there and tap that. So, hell yeah, crypto cooter, that probably comes with a 6-cent H-bar and algo. Well, if we think they're going down there, H-bar, if we come all the way down here, much like we did with the other ones, you're looking at about 4.6 cents to be approximate. Now, if it takes until August, we're looking at about 4.7. So anywhere between 4.5 and 4.7 cent H-bar. Oh, I've got the goods. I've got the goods. They've been sitting here the whole time. I always say, I've got the golden ticket. All you got to do is look at the chart and be patient. You know, patience is a virtue. But then you start measuring all of this out to August. You know, that August area. I mean, 4.8, 4.7, 4.5. We'll say 4.8. So yeah, 4.8, if this plays out, would be on H bar. And then that would be the support, support, support. I got on support. We've only got 2 hits a reset. You see how this is playing out, ladies and gentlemen? We're not making this up. This is just, it is what it is. And now I'm going to get rid of a lot of this nonsensical noise. Nobody needs to hear the noise anymore. Let's get rid of the noise. You know what? I'm sick of the noise. I'm sick of all the noise. And some people would be like, oh, he smoked a joint and not smoking, remember? So it's definitely not a joint. I know it's crazy to think XRP future millionaires and smoking marijuana. Unless I grow it, that is. Or unless somebody from my beautiful audience sends me it. I'm not buying it from dispensaries anymore. Told you my reasoning why. It's not easy. I haven't even taken my RSO today. So we have a death cross here in the weekly on H bar. And I really like this a lot. Ooh, did I say I like this a lot? A lot. Oh, a lot. And then we, you know, I want to keep this in the blue, actually. I want to turn this blue. We're going to turn it blue. Not that blue. Hideous blue. I want real blue. There it is. What the hell happened there? So we're just trying, what the hell? We can't have it that color. Yeah, much better. We're white and blue. Yeah, I mean, I don't like that. That don't look right. I almost screwed us with my poor technical analysis. Glad I caught that. Okay. Anyhow, 4.6, 4.8, somewhere in there. Somewhere in there. What the hell is this? Whoa, 1970 Legend. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted sub. I don't know what I did to earn that this evening, but I'm glad I did whatever I did to earn it. Because not just for me, but there's 5 members now who have memberships in Tom's Army. How cool is that? 1970 Legend, our fellow Buckeye, suffered a hard defeat in the tourney. Those bastard horn frogs. But that's okay. It is what it is. At least they made the tournament. But thank you so much for that, my fellow Buckeye. Well, not fellow Buckeye, but my friend from Columbus area. As I'm a Wolverine, so you never really hear Wolverines and Buckeyes, you know, in the same sentence as friends. But we are. We are. But thank you so much for not only being in Tom's Army for over 1 year at the I Told You So Badge, a very trusted mod, and gifting 5 subs. We got Amet, Sunshine, 10 fucking administry, faking administry, 10 faking whatever, fake ministry, XRP connoisseur. Thanks for being in your first month now with the emoji badges of me being abducted by aliens. And then Dane W crypto guy with 3+ months now with the XRP meteor. How awesome is that? What a guy. What a guy. As we can see, the death cross in the weekly, we've already had the 20 cross to 200. And now we're having the 50 cross to 100, which is a little more bearish. The question is, could it come back up to 11.9? It could. Gonna take some work. Gonna take some work. I'm writing this down. Anybody else taking notes? Hey, I did this back in 2021 to get those 99% off targets and 90 to 99% off targets back in the day, and they hit. I did it in 23 to get significantly cheaper targets to hit again. This is the one I pine to hit. I really want these to hit. Is he still sleeping? Okay. 54 minutes. Almost done. So yeah, I pine for these targets to hit. Pine for these targets. But 1970 Legend, thank you so much for those 5 gifted subs. And I know also trading with J-Ride earlier for the $10 super chat. Very, very generous donations. I really appreciate that. And then for Algo, actually, you know what? XLM first. Because if we have a target for XDC and H bar, and XRP, XLM needs to be covered as well. So XLM, I do have that target as well, as it would be our continued hit on the uptrending support. And I can make a very clear case here of why I think this is going to happen. I really can. I really, really can. And let's just continue to play this out. So let's get rid of a lot, guys. A lot of the noise. I'm sick of the noise. We're all sick of the noise. These patterns have played out. Bye. I know a lot of you have been waiting for me to do this. Goodbye. 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 Bye-bye. 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 Bye. Goodbye. I've been waiting to do this as well. Sometimes you can finally get rid of a lot of it. This is the time. Because now the charts become a lot clearer. Lot clearer. Oh, shit. I wasn't supposed to remove that one. Now they become a lot less clear, haven't they? That's okay. That's an easy fix. Now I can see how I do it. You can draw it in yourself, all right? It's a good thing. I think I break my audience out. Because I came in talking very calmly and silently.
Because you were spooky?
No, not spooky anymore.
Well, you were spooky.
Earlier by design.
So you started off spooky.
Not, well, this morning. Not right now. I came in calm and I think it's throwing everybody off. So did something change? No? Actually, I don't want that. I want to clone this. Hold on, we got to line this up perfectly real quick. This is our guiding stone. Don't need to go from there. We need to go from here. I think that's excuse me. I think that's okay. Because we went uptrend. Uptrend. Bless you. I like this. See that we have resistance, resistance, resistance. And this is pretty cool when you start looking at it like this. And then we can start looking at support. And you can drag this all the way back if you would like, because you can still see how it starts. See? But we start with this area. We hit around 1.0013. Then we hit it again at 3.4. Then we hit it again at about 7.8. Now, the projection would be the next time, let's say it takes until August, because we're trying to keep them on the same principle, would be about 9.7 cents. So, and we're still filling out an all-time pattern. So, I know it seems like, oh, this is taking forever. It's never going to break out, yada, 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 so on and so forth. But this is how you have to look at it. You have to look at it like this. These are all-time setups. That's why I put in the title micro versus macro. The danger zone of the micro. And I think the danger zone is not even a danger zone. I think it's mentally dangerous. Because we're in a bear market. XLM, though, has popped up 7% on the day. To the dismay of some, to the thrill of others. It's at 666. But that's what I'm looking at. If it comes down, that's about a drop down to 9. Hold on. That's a little low. 9.9 cents if we pull it out into August. So we're just waiting. We're waiting for that next tap on the uptrending support. So if you're trying to buy, you know, Aurelie says, Tom, you're the GOAT, and we love your honesty and appreciate the truth no matter what. That's a better way for her of saying, we don't care if you're yelling and swearing. We just want the truth. We don't care. I appreciate that. Let's see, 666 XLM is the down. Could be. It could be. Let's see. Dove season opens in August. Interesting. Correlation, we need a dove season, dovish by nature, to push this up. So that's XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR, and now we'll finish it with algo, and then I'm going to go. Julie's out here. It's been an hour. I've done 2 lives today, plus a live class as well. Voice getting a little tired. But the point is I made it. I got here, and I came here a second time. We came here a second time. For algo, slightly different. It's a little bit different what we're looking at here for algo. And again, let's get rid of all of this nonsensical nonsense. I love clearing up the board sometimes. It makes me happy. It means that the longer term pattern is starting to play out. And I can easily refill in the shorter pattern. That's not a problem. And now we can look at the all-time patterns when we come back in here for many different assets. Many different assets. A lot of stuff to get off the chart, though. I like clearing the charts out from the micro perspective so we can look more from a macro. Sometimes the micro just pisses us off, right? So, oh, man, how are we going to get to that macro without the micro? Okay, I think we're in business. So if you look at this, the big difference here is you have this descending... Oh, shit. Well, I can't look at it now because I deleted it. I'll fix it. But we have that descending support. Man, is this going to be so much different, though, because this is a very big pattern here. We got to start over. Might as well just start over. And then I'll leave it at that. And then we'll continue this tomorrow. Let's see. Here's my arrow. So we got support. Come up here. Tap the support. And now we will measure this out, I promise. But we do have 2 different ways to look at this because algo... It happened way back here on support, way over here. So, you know, you draw it out, and we start to see where apex is somewhere in here. But obviously this is not correct because it was a downtrend. Does make it... Oh, actually, you know what? It's not as bad as I thought. So... That's where we have the support structure. Now, I know we have that over-the-top resistance, but there is actually a smaller structure being built, which makes a lot more sense here because you're going to have to get past the short-term structure to get back to the top failed bull market in a big way. So, this is how I would look at this, in my opinion. You lessen it for the lower target, and then you... get above there, and now all of a sudden you got this over-the-top resistance that at some point way up here is going to have to be broken. But that's nowhere near it, even in the freaking stratosphere right now, let me tell you. So, right about here. First hit was up here at 98 cents. Second hit was here at about 61 cents. Support taps. And then I can tell you exactly what I'm thinking for my target. First hit was all the way back here, right around 7.8 cents. Second hit was all the way back here, around 6.9 cents. Third tap is all the way into the abyss, sometime around August, if it does the same as the rest. So 6.5 cents. About 6. Well, this is way too low. Wow, I was way off. Look at me. Look at me, I'm way off. Almost like I can't see out of my left. Oh, wait a minute. I can't see out of my left side. Damn it. Can't hide your blindness. 9.7. 8.2. 7 cents. So if we're looking at this, if XRP comes down, we're looking at 86.6 cents on XRP, unless it extends farther to that mid 50 cent zone. Then we'd be looking at for algo around 7 cents, which who knows, it could come down much farther than that. We don't know if it's going to break through. And then we need H bar would be about 4.6 cents. And then XDC would be about 2.25 cents. If we line it up just like this. Now, we did this in like May. So that's just the way it would go. So I'm XRP Future Millionaire. I hope this helped. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, Bright Future Freedom. I'm not surprised you see all the non-canonical nonsense they try to sell me to. So I hope this helped. I hope this gave you a perspective of more than just XRP. I appreciate everybody here. I appreciate the wide show of support that we've received. And appreciate that. Bitcoin needs to retest 30-day and give us reverse head and shoulders. Yeah, for Bitcoin, I have it drawn out for Bitcoin. It's like 59 all the way down to 52K in this scenario, which I think would hit. I really do. And yeah, we'll get into Bitcoin on the next live, I promise. We don't want to clutter with Bitcoin. But be blessed, everybody. Have a blessed day. I hope you capture the day by the balls here, so to say. And at least, if there's one thing I know, is I gave you it my all today. And I like the way this live went. I like the calm. See, when I'm calm and I'm thinking clear, I can give you a lot more information. If I get raw, then I can't give you all the information because I'm raw. And I forget. So expect more updates and lives like this with this demeanor. And we're going to capture this. We're going to do exactly what we need to do. But now we need to wait for some of the data to drop. I don't mean to be like Jerome Powell, but with the data of the charts to see exactly which way we're going to go. Look for the end of the close here in an hour and 7 minutes. Below $1.44, let's just say 4, bearish. Above $1.44.5, nice tug up to 148 to 152, possibly higher. Just because we close below it doesn't mean that it's over yet. Remember, we're just starting the weekly, and it would be defined on the next daily candle if we close below $1.44.4. So just pay attention, be observant, and you know what? Don't get outside yourself and stay positive. Positive